we're just going to stop that call. Good morning. Morning to you on Facebook. Good morning to our friends on Instagram. It is Tanj here. It is 8 o'clock, 29th of March, and that means it's Rapid Fire Friday time. If I haven't met you before, hello, thanks for tuning in. I am a peak performance specialist for real estate and property professionals. Essentially, I believe that we all deserve and feeling, and so I coach people to achieve that, and I do that through leadership and mindset coaching predominantly. And Rapid Fire Friday is where I just reflect on my one-on-one coaching sessions for the week, distill the key themes, and just do some rapid fire sharing of what people are dealing with and what tips and lessons and strategies and tools I give them. So and I share it with you, so you can then also benefit from those lessons. Some people don't have the resources to invest in a one-on-one coach. I don't want that to get in the way of you actually growing and achieving things that are important to you. So that's why we do what we do. Hello, Holly Byrne, great to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to get stuck straight into it. And also, if you haven't joined in for Mindset Mastery Monday, that is also on 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Monday. So Holly, so I know you can hear and see me okay, can you give me a thumbs up, my love, so I know is last flash. So I didn't do much. G'day, Brendan. Great to see you here. Thanks, Holly. Lovely work. So as I mentioned on Instagram earlier, I didn't do much one-on-one coaching this week because I did a 2-day empowered leadership training for the DEXA group in the beautiful Blue Mountains. I'll definitely be going back there. And I also facilitated a 2-day empowered leadership summit for about 40 women in Sydney. But I want to share with you some of these. Who we got? Carly Frost. Good morning, beautiful. These are the lessons that 50 leaders of the DEXA group got out of a 2-day leadership program. Now listen, whether you're a leader or not, if you're in business, you waved, yeah, I waved at Carly. If you're in business and you want to be successful, there's going to be some gold here for you. So in the theme of Rapid Fire Friday, I'm going to share the lessons that 50 immersive leadership training. If you're an agent, listen for what's possible if you adopted some of these. G'day, Ben. Great to have you here too. Happy Friday. So just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Type in live if you're watching this live, and type in record if you're watching the record. Are you ready? Are you ready for rapid fire lessons? So first one here is one of my favorites. Stop shooting all over myself. Thanks, Carly. Thanks, Ben. Stop shooting all over myself. What does this mean? Well, consider that we say, I should do this, I should do this, I should get up early, I shouldn't press snooze, I should exercise, I should prospect. If I'm a leader, I should do one-on-ones with my team. I should call my mum, I should clean my car. I should stop drinking so much. I should eat clean. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? Do you do that? Do you do this? Do you should? Here's what happens. And when we should and don't act, we should all over ourselves. And it's the number one way that I work, because every time you say something, you are listening. And if you're saying what you should do and you don't do, there's a lack of congruency between you and your word. Does that make sense to you? And when there's a lack of congruency with you and your word, g'day EK, great to have you here. Welcome to Rapid Fire Friday. When there's a lack of congruency with you and your word, you really aren't aligned with you being a creator. So if you are telling yourself what you should be doing and you're not doing it, consider that your subconscious mind is full of everything that you should do and you're not doing it, and that's going to create a lot of tension, a lot of stress, because you've got a lot of files open, because your subconscious mind likes closing things off, likes completing things. And when you say what you should do and you don't do it, you are stressing yourself out. G'day, Bridget Barker, great to have you here. So stop shooting all over yourself is a really key lesson. If you do that, if you're on Instagram and you do that, tell me that I don't want to do it anymore. Jag, Ben, awesome. Welcome to Rapid Fire Friday, my friends. I want to know, write to me here on Instagram and Facebook. What do you constantly tell yourself that you should do that you're not doing? And stop doing it. Okay, lesson number one. Oh, here we go. I haven't put these in order. Now, if this is great, it's perfect. Don't you love the way the universe works? The Holly, yes. So Holly, you're going to love this. Now, here's what I want you to do as an exercise. Get a white piece of paper, put a line in the middle, write down on the left-hand side everything that you've been telling yourself that you should do. I should clean my car, I should prospect, I should ask that guy out, I should ask that girl out, I should get up at 5, I should eat clean, I should exercise, I should stop pressing snooze, I should ring my mum, whatever, I should write a book, I should do a marathon, I should, and we should all over ourselves if we don't do it, and it's a lot of noise and distraction. So write all your shoulds down. You're going to do a should take, and then I want you to step back and have a disassociated relationship with it, and then I want you to choose. What must you do, and what are you going to stop telling yourself that you should do anymore? Because you're making a lot of stress for yourself if you're not doing what you say you should do. White page, line in the middle, dump all your shoulds, and then discern and decide what you must do, and don't overcommit. We often overpromise and underdeliver for ourselves, and we wonder why we're stressed. So that's a little tip. So let me know if you like that idea and you're going to do it, because it is, should you do it or must you do it? A really great tip there. All right, another lesson that someone got here: to evaluate myself and really listen. Yes, how do you evaluate yourself? Do you measure and manage your own performance if you're a listing selling agent, if you're a BDM, and if you're a leader? If we look at the 6 empowered leadership practices of envision, engage, embody, empower, evaluate, and encourage. I did some research with CoreLogic, RP Data. We've now got a 44-page report on the state of leadership in Australia and New Zealand. Thanks, EK. And we know what gets people stuck. And guess what this industry does poorly? It's evaluate. We don't evaluate how we're going. We don't evaluate the return on investment on our marketing, on our sponsorship dollars. We don't really measure the listing conversion rates of our people. We just don't measure ourselves very well. We're off to an appointment. Okay, cool. Ben, happy Friday to you. Thanks for tuning in. I hope your appointment's awesome. So to evaluate myself and really listen. So let me ask you, do you evaluate your performance? If so, how often? Do you evaluate yourself daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly? If you're an agent, you really want to be evaluating your daily prospecting activity and what return on investment you're getting out of that. If you're a leader, you want to be evaluating your break even every month and making sure that your business is profitable. By the way, historical data indicates that in 2019, around 50% of real estate businesses won't make any money. And many of them won't even be around by the 31st of December. That's a real shame. A lot of them aren't going to be around because they're reacting, not responding to the changing and correcting market, and they're not evaluating their business, so they have an oh shit experience because they didn't keep track of their P&L and they weren't managing their profit. So, William, g'day, great to have you here, my friend. So it's really important to evaluate yourself. And if you need some tools on that, DM me, reach out to me. I've got a weekly accountability sheet if you're an agent, and there are many other tools that are around. I did before during the week, and I will learnt that there are 3 layers to listening. Most of us don't listen at all. Most of us are actually listening to somebody, or we're with others, they're communicating. But the truth of it is, we're listening to the little voice in our head that is agreeing to what they're saying or disagreeing. We're judging what they're saying or assessing. We're preparing our response, or in some cases, even our defense. So as you go about your day today, I invite you to actually notice, are you listening when people are communicating, especially potential clients, like vendors at a listing consultation? Are you really listening, or are you just preparing your response? Are you just listening to the little voice in your head that's agreeing or disagreeing? Take a look. This lesson here, be unreasonable. What does that mean? Well, I spoke to the leaders about, especially leaders, but this can relate to you too if you're an agent, listing selling agent. If you can still hear me, by the way, give me a thumbs up so I know it's loud and clear. Be unreasonable means most of us either have one of two things. We have reasons or we have results. If we don't have results, we typically have a lot of reasons why we don't have the results. And if you break down the reasons, typically they are resource orientated. I didn't have time, I don't have the money, I don't have the team, I don't have the right CRM system, I don't. So what you want to be is unreasonable with yourself. When you give your reasons the power to be greater than you know yourself to be, then your reasons will always win. You'll never be empowered because you'll be a victim at the mercy of external circumstances. Does that make sense? Does that make sense what I'm saying? So let me know. Be unreasonable. Notice in your day-to-day, where are you giving yourself reasons, justifications, excuses, and descriptions as to why you don't have the result? And all that means is that you're giving your reason power and you're also it. Okay, just a little insight there. Let me know if that makes sense. This one here says listen ears. What does that mean? We talked about the power of, we have two of these and one of these. Most of us just like to fix and change and help people, which is lovely, but mostly people just want to be heard. So as you go about your day with clients, as you're leading your team, less this, more this, and as Rick Rushton would say, tune in before you broadcast. Really listen to what your people is saying. This one here says energy in the office. Oprah Winfrey has a sign on her office door that says, be responsible for the energy that you bring into the room. Now, that's a big one. Here's what I know, particularly in property management. Property management teams are dealing with problems 8 hours a day, 5 days a week when they're in the office. The phone rings, there's a problem to solve. Typically across multiple people in unrealistic times and hours a day. That can take its toll. That can create negativity. And from a cultural perspective, it is very common that property managers get off the phone and they vent and they unpack and they talk and sometimes complain about what just happened. Now, absolutely love that. Oh, great, EK, I don't know which one you love, whether it's listen or be unreasonable. Let me know which one, EK. I want to know which distinction so far you've loved. Now, I'm not saying you need to bottle it up, but here's what I know. We can have star conversations, which are conversations that light things up and illuminate what's possible and just brighten the atmosphere. This typically looks like possibilities and making promises and declarations and focusing on the positive and celebrating success and learning from the lessons when shit happens. Or we can have black hole conversations when what we're talking about brings people down. It's like a big negative space that we all fall into and we feel like crap. So just notice, what's the energy you're bringing into the office? What's the energy you're bringing into your home? What's the energy you bring to the people around you? Another one here about energy and managing stress. Here we go, another lesson. The vibe I bring into the room impacts the people around me, and that people drag me down. See, really key lesson. Be responsible for the energy that you bring into the room. A really powerful message that Oprah Winfrey shares. Achieve clarity of exactly where we are as a business. Now, when I did this leadership training, I talked about the metaphor of being a pilot. The energy you bring into the room, isn't it a ripper? I love that one too. Love the good energy. Yes. Now, I talked about being a pilot, and that is pilots need to know key things, right? A lot of things actually, but let's distill it down. And how does this relate to leadership or you leading your business? A pilot has to know where they're going, right? They need a target, a destination. And what's the next most important thing they need to know? I'm going to ask you guys on Instagram, what's the next most important thing a pilot needs to know? They need to know where they're taking their crew and passengers, your team, or your clients if you're an agent. What's the next most important thing they need to know? EK, what do you reckon? Carly, what do you reckon? If you're on Facebook, what do you reckon? I know that there's a slight delay in the filming of this, but I'm keen for you to write it in. I will say it is you need to know where you're flying from. If you don't know where you are, then you don't know how to set the coordinates for your success. You don't know how much fuel you need. You don't know you need to do to achieve your results. So you have to be successful in business. Direction, yeah. And how do you establish direction? You need to know where you're coming from. So you have to be clear about where you're going. And I think we're about 13 weeks away from starting a new financial year. So it's time to really start thinking about your forecast for the next 12 months. Absolutely know your numbers. Carly, I cannot recommend this enough. So forecast what you want, and please don't do what most people do and just pick a number because it sounds good. Oh, I want to make 500,000, where this year they made 180. Now, unless you have a reverse engineered strategy to make 500,000, and I believe you can, if you're willing to show up and consistently do the work, then awesome. But don't just pick a number because it sounds good and it's impressive. But you've got to know where you start. So where do you want to go and where do you want to start? Having clarity around your business is critical. There's a bit of a flow. Know your numbers. Carly, you said before, how nothing if you are blocked. We talked about the 5 benefits that our inner saboteur gets out of keeping us stuck. So if you are listening to this and if you are feeling stuck, like there's areas of your business or your life where you're not getting anywhere, or you're oscillating, meaning you're taking 2 steps forward and 2 steps back, and you feel like you're on a rocking chair, a lot of movement, a lot of being busy but not really getting anywhere, then consider that there are 5 benefits that are going on that your saboteur is just playing like a deck of cards, and it has the power. And those benefits are this. This, by the way, is a game-changing piece of information. You listen to this. You listen for which one of these handbrakes are hindering your success being fulfilled. You do something about it, you'll get the figures that you're aiming for if you do the work. So in if it's your ego, or for the ladies our she-go, or for the fellas our he-go, gets out of keeping us stuck and oscillating, we get to be right about our crappy beliefs that we're not good enough, we're not successful, we're this, we're that, they're better than me, he's better than me, I'll never amount to anything. Whatever it is, you get to be right about your shitty beliefs about yourself. How's that working for you? Is that fuel injecting your future being fulfilled? I don't think so. The second benefit your ego gets out of keeping you stuck is you get to avoid responsibility. You get to blame others, you get to blame resources, you get to just not have any power. You get to blame things outside of yourself, and you're really avoiding the responsibility for living your greatest life. Number 3, this is probably the most popular one, certainly that I've seen in real estate. You get to stay safe and comfortable. You get to hang out in familiar territory. You get to hang out in familiar territory. You get to fire and suffer because nothing's happening. You're not willing to take a risk. You don't like it there because you know you've got a lot of potential, but it's familiar to you, and we're scared of being judged. Number 4, you're being a victim. Loaded word. What does that really mean? A victim means that you relate to yourself like you are at the mercy of external circumstances. You don't have the power to change anything. And finally, the ego, the benefit that our ego gets out of stopping us is we get to seek significance, because here's what I know at core. You and I, to various degrees, just don't believe we're good enough. Whether it's 5% or 500% or 100% of our belief system, you and I've never known any human being in the 20 years I've been coaching to not have a percentage of their persona that doesn't believe in themselves. I've never known it. So because you and I, at some degree, don't believe in ourselves, we create drama, we create confusion, we create significance as a unconscious way of feeling important. So if you have dramatic relationships, if you have a lot of drama happening in your life, if you have a lot of chaos, just consider that your ego is running the show. It's creating a lot of mess because it's making you have an inflated sense of importance. I know it's not conscious. You're not consciously doing it. And if you're not doing it, do you have someone in your life? Do you know someone that does that? Do you know someone that does that? That's what's going on. They actually are very insecure, they're overcompensating, and they're trying to feel and be bigger than they relate to themselves to be. It's unfortunate, but we do it. So I want to recap, and I'd love to record, do me a favor and do that. If what I'm saying is making sense, give me a thumbs up or an emoji, smiley emoji. And 3, I want you to listen for which one are you? Are you addicted to being right? So how do you drop the ego? Yeah, good question, Nikkei. Let me come back to that. Are you addicted to being right? Are you avoiding responsibility? Are you playing safe and comfortable in familiar territory? Are you being a victim, being like you don't have the power and other things are more powerful than you? And are you seeking significance? Okay, I want you to ask yourself those questions. Now, EK, thanks for asking, and then I'll wrap this up because we're at 20 minutes and I'll come back to these next week. Has this been helpful? You guys that are on, has this made a sense, and is it helpful for you? Let me know with a yes, a thumbs up, or any other way you want to communicate it. How do you drop the ego? You actually don't. You need to love it and you need to have compassion. There are 2 orientations that we operate in, our ego, and our ego is typically our wounded child that didn't get love or didn't get acknowledgement and praise. Typically as a kid, we look for love from the feminine and we look for acknowledgement and praise from the masculine. And consider, EK and everyone else watching, that we came here to planet Earth with this contract going, wow, this place is amazing. I'm going to get love and I'm going to get acknowledgement and I'm going to get that 100% of the time, and it doesn't happen. Usually around the age of 2 or 3, we realize that that contract is null and void. So and if you've got kids, you'll know it's impossible to love and acknowledge and praise them 24/7. It's just physically impossible. So shit happens in our life, even as a young kid. And whether it's traumatic, I didn't expect you to say that. Oh, okay, well, stick around. No, let me because listen, where attention goes, energy flows, EK. If you're trying to get rid of your ego, here's your ego, you're trying to, here it is, messing you up, sabotaging your success, and you're over here trying to get rid of it. Good morning, Paula, lovely to have you here. And you're trying to get rid of your ego. Where's your focus? Your focus is on your ego. Your focus is on trying to get rid of that which you don't want. So where attention goes, energy flows. What we need to do is just love and accept it. It's just the wounded child that didn't get love, didn't get acknowledgement. We want love and praise, love and nurturing from the feminine. We want acknowledgement and praise from the masculine. And if we don't get it, and we all don't to some degree, we construct an ego. And our ego, EK, so true. Yes, Paula, I know you love this conversation. And so when we don't get it, we create a belief system. Now, here's what I know. We can have simple things happen to us as a child, like maybe mum and dad didn't read you a story at night and you made it mean you're not important. Or, your brother gets born and you make it mean you're not important. So it's never what happens that defines us. It's what we decide as a result. And our ego is just a set of shitty belief systems that create an identity or a persona that we then operate on. Now, you've heard people say, he has a big ego, she has a big ego. Have you heard that? Yes or no? Type it in. Have you heard, he's got a big ego, she's got a big ego? And, we judge people for it. We need to have a level of compassion, because when people overcompensate and they're, living beyond their means, or, they're driving the fancy car and wearing the suits, but they're really broke and, living paycheck to paycheck or commission to commission, or, they're trying to overpower people. These are the people that are deeply insecure. These are the people that actually didn't get loved or didn't get acknowledged and praised as a kid, and so they're desperately seeking validation, because the agenda of the ego is to seek validation. Do you like me? Do you love me? Am I okay? Is this okay? Are we okay? Am I good? Is this good? Unconsciously, we are obsessed with what people think of us. So how do you get rid of your ego was the question. You don't. You love it. Now, you don't build a castle for it and give servants to it and embellish it. You just say, I hear you and I know where you're coming from, and thank you, but you're not going to drive the bus or train or car or plane of my life anymore. Your ears need to get a driver's seat, because have a license because it's a child. It doesn't have the ability to even touch the pedals. It doesn't know the difference between a clutch and accelerator, and it doesn't have the keys to your success. It can't even see over the steering wheel. So take your ego out of the driver's seat, sit it in the passenger seat like a child. Ask it to put its seatbelt on and give it a snack pack and let it know that you're getting in the driver's seat now, you being your soul, your greatness, your potential, your power. You're getting in the driver's seat. Love this, would love to hear much more. This is the jam, EK. This is actually really the truth of my work, the truth of my study, you know, like the truth of why I do what I do. Because listen, 98% of what we do is governed by our subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind is full of the negative thoughts that we have. And the negative thoughts that we have are fueling the decisions we make and therefore the results that we have. So put your ego in the passenger seat, put a seat back and get in the driver's seat. You've got the keys. Start getting clarity on where you're driving. Back yourself and go for it. So I hope that made sense. So I think I'm going to leave it there for Rapid Fire Friday. As you can see, I have a lot of lessons to share with you from the 2-day leadership summit that we did in the Blue Mountains. You know, I've only unpacked maybe 8. So if that was useful, please let me know. Type in yes, give me some love, give me some thumbs up if that was a good exercise to do. And please remember, I'm here for you. Every single, good morning, Erica. We're just about to wrap up, my love, but thanks for tuning in. You can watch the recording of this. Honey, so you don't miss out. Please remember Mindset Mastery Monday. This is every Monday at 8 o'clock. It's where you ask a Q and I provide my best A. If you're watching this and you have a question, please DM me, email me, .com.au. I'm here to give you access to happiness and deep fulfillment in all areas of your life. I'm here to serve you. So I hope you found that useful. If you are watching in real estate, have an amazing show day tomorrow. Go out and connect with people, because as Maya Angelou says, people will forget what you said. They'll even forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So go make people feel great. Message me if you have a question. I will absolutely answer it. I won't say your name and where you're from. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your company and I hope that was useful. Much love. Go well. Be great. See you to our friends on Facebook, and bye to our friends on Instagram. Have a beautiful weekend.